All right, so I got around to the new episode of The Twilight Zone called A Traveler tonight, starring Glenn from The Walking Dead and Greg Kinnear. Now, I put this off for a few days because I had other stuff to get to, and honestly, I should have put it off completely. I didn't care for this episode at all. We are 3 of 4 episodes now I have not cared for. This show is a huge disappointment to me personally. I'm kind of surprised more than anything at how much I'm really not liking this show and how not good I think it is. That's shocking to me, to be completely honest. I would just have thought they would have put better effort into this. I'm hoping that other people are loving it and I'm alone in this, but I really highly doubt it. I will say this though. So this is an episode where it's this little small town in Alaska, and there's this sheriff who pardons one person every Christmas Eve. It's his tradition. And this girl's bringing in her brother on some, drunken, disorderly, I don't exactly know. He's a drunk. They bring him in all the time. And she's like, don't worry, we're going to pardon you in a minute. It's not a big deal. And so she takes him in there. They go to pardon him. And when they go down there, there's no one there because there's only like a population of a couple hundred people in the whole town. And when they go down there to pardon him, there's some other guy in the cell next to him. And they don't know how the hell he got down there. And he wants to be pardoned. Now, the biggest problem I have with this episode, I have a lot of issues with the episode, but my biggest problem is character reactions. Now, I know this is the Twilight Zone, so I know that there's going to be a certain level of suspension of disbelief. That I'm completely aware of. I watched all the original show. I've watched the 80s show. I watched the fucking Forrest Whitaker version. I've watched a lot of Twilight Zone in my life, so I know what the Twilight Zone is, and I know what to expect from it and what suspension of disbelief that I'm going to need for it. The characters' decisions, the characters' reactions, the characters in this episode are so unbelievable. It's impossible to overlook, and you're just sitting there scratching your head. Plus, I didn't find almost any of it interesting, and also I found it extremely derivative of a much superior film, and that is a film that has a small, snowy town where everyone knows each other. They go, the main guy here comes out of nowhere, gets himself locked up in the jail, talking to the fucking town sheriff, knowing everyone's secrets in the town, blah, blah, blah. It's very similar to Stephen King's Storm of the Century, which is a trillion times better than this fucking episode. So if you're gonna watch something with a similar plot line, now granted, this movie's like 4 hours long. I want to say it was a TV miniseries. I want to say it's 4 hours. Yeah, 256 minutes, so about 4 hours. But man, it's worth it. Great ass movie. This episode, I will outright say I thought it sucked. I really didn't care for almost anything at all. I didn't care for the characters. I didn't care for the storyline. As I said, I felt like it was being Storm of the Century. It ended up not being similar towards the end, but the ending of this episode, what the fuck did I miss? What was the big Twilight Zone twist that was like, Jordan Peele's character here, Rod Sterling's old character, is supposed to come on the screen and say his words, and we're supposed to be like, oh shit. It went to commercial because I have CBS All Access, and for some reason it still has fucking commercials. That's super lame. And I thought it was over, but then it came back, and it came back just to watch a character do something that was completely unimportant. And I was like, so that's it? Because I was kind of just mouth agape, like, that's all that's going to happen? And then it came back, and I was like, oh, there's more. And then, as I said, it's just a character doing something random that doesn't really pertain to much at all. And then it's over, and you're like, really? What the fuck did I just miss? Wow, I'm shocked. I saw a trailer for next week's episode. I usually don't watch trailers, but I'm losing interest in the show. And so I had to watch the next trailer for the episode coming up, and I thought it looked interesting. I'll watch it. It's got that Jacob Tremblay kid and John Cho, who I'm a big fan of. So I'll watch it, but fuck, man. I don't know if that one bombs. If that one's really terrible, I might honestly call it quits on this. This is a really rough show. This is a really rough show, and they need to either pull the plug on it or do a complete overhaul, because this is embarrassing to the Twilight Zone's name, to be completely honest. And I'm not usually the kind of guy that would say something like that, but this is a bad effort. So I don't know. Maybe you guys loved it. I don't see how, to be honest, but hopefully you did. Let me know what you guys think about this show, if anyone's even still fucking watching it at this point. Jesus. Watch Storm of the Century. It's so much better.